OTAs are on for the Raiders. We're talking Geno Smith, Ashton, Jeanty, Chip Kelly, and so much more. Let's do this thing. City Beat starts right now.
From Las Vegas, this is Sin City Beat.
Welcome to Sin City Beat. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. I'm your host, Mike Davis. Organized team activities. Let's talk about it. That's what OTA stands for in NFL lingo. It's basically the final offseason training program for teams before official training camp begins in late summer. This time on Sin City Beat, we're breaking down everything from Raiders OTAs before they wrap on June 5th. Joining the action today, we have Ray Brewer, managing editor of the Las Vegas Sun, Case Kiefer, assistant sports editor with the Las Vegas Sun, and some new blood joining us for the very first time. We're happy to have Ryan McFadden, Las Vegas Raiders beat reporter with ESPN. Great to have you guys here with us. So let's talk about this. One name that gets Raiders fans and fantasy football players emphatically excited, Ashton Jeanty, the 21-year-old rookie who was selected 6th overall, is bringing much-needed change to the Raiders' backfield. But he's also changing another thing, his pre-snap stance, as coaches want to see some more bend in his knees. Ryan, tell us about that, a little bit more, that report, and what you've seen from Ashton Jeanty so far during OTAs.
I think the whole idea of Ashton Jeanty changing his stance is probably was blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
This is something that offensive coordinator Chip Kelly said, this is a bent knee league. This is sports in general. You have to bend your knees to do certain things. So that's just, it's common in the sport, even though Ashton Jeanty made a lot of headlines last year at Boise State for his stance, that Michael Myers Halloween stance. And it's pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, but this is the NFL. A lot of things you did in college you can't do in the NFL. On a pro level, so I understand the change of, why Chip Kelly wanted Ashton Jeanty to change his stance. And to your second question, yeah, it seems like Ashton Jeanty's already made a strong impression with this team. He's taken the most snaps out of the guys in the running back room so far throughout the OTAs, getting a lot of first-team reps, and that's going to be huge. Going into when he got drafted in April, we already had that idea of this is going to be their guy at running back. He walked into a running back room where he can establish himself early as the top guy. And you're already seeing that so far. Now we got to wait till when the pass comes on during training camp to see a little bit more about what he can provide. But I think this team has a lot of high expectations for Jeanty. He's getting the ball rolling early.
The fans do as well, just watching him do his thing and run. It's a beautiful thing to witness and watch. So Ray, Chip Kelly, I mean, he's already the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL right now, coming off a championship at Ohio State. Are you liking what you're hearing and reading so far in reports from guys like Case and Ryan? Do you like the 3 inches and the bend in the knee that we need to hear? Is he doing a little bit too much in terms of media already?
So I'm going to borrow a line from Case where he says it's May and we're in shorts. And I think that we still need to. This is just OTAs. Some teams have players who aren't even there.
Right.
Now, granted, it's a new coaching staff, new era in Vegas, and it's a little more important than just your regular run of the NFL team that might be a little more established. But I just think right now we're trying to look at whatever scenes these guys get to see at practice for a few minutes and whatever the coaches are telling us, and whatever, how was Chip Kelly with the, I almost said Skip, Chip Kelly with the Eagles, or how was he at Ohio State, and how's his offense going to mesh with this running back who's really good, who by the way, we talk about a lot on this show from his Boise State days.
Right.
And I don't want to jump to any real conclusions right now. It's great to say, hey, look at this, and it's great that this 5th overall pick is touching the ball so much, and that's going to translate to when the season starts. But let's take everything with a grain of salt. It's May, there's no pads on, and he is a rookie who, isn't going to step in right away and be Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
At least I don't think.
All right, well, 6th overall pick, Ashton Jeanty. Case, what do you think? I know you have a lot of good knee bend. I even saw today when you were checking into Fox 5, you had to take a picture on our new monitor, and you had some good knee bend yourself.
I got to tell you, I played almost every position in football back in my glory days, but never tailback. So I don't know if I'm qualified to quite talk about Ashton Jeanty. I'd also correct Brewer. This time of year, we do get to watch all of practice, not just a few minutes. So we have seen a lot. I will say I'm all about overreacting to OTAs. I know people want to see it, want to get some things. I think one area you can't overreact to is the run game. There's just not too much you can take out of it yet when there's no contact. I mean, most full team periods are 90% pass. I will say Ashton Jeanty looks really fluid as far as the footwork and all that. He looks like he's up to snuff, and wearing some nice cleats too.
Dude,
I like that pink.
Look at this man's guns. I mean, I would never want to take down this guy. I mean, I'm just super excited. It's going to be a lot of fun to see a revitalized backfield there for the Silver and Black. But guys, next, it's time to talk about QB1. Geno Smith has players and coaches gushing over him, but what does his ceiling truly look like with the Raiders? The panel is going to break it down after this.
You're watching Sin City Beat.
He's been called a blessing, even special. Our panelist, Ryan McFadden with ESPN, reported offensive coordinator Chip Kelly saying, quote, "He's great. Geno is literally like a second coach." Hell of an OTA's report card there for a 34-year-old veteran quarterback. Now, Case Kiefer, a lot of positive vibes for the new Raiders quarterback. Do you think Geno is in fact special, and what is his ceiling? Are you buying all of this good reporting and news out of OTAs?
I think you just set me up to be the negative one every time. Because overall, I'm higher on the Raiders after seeing them up close. I've been impressed with the intensity in practice. I actually missed the latest OTA, so I can only go off what I saw. The last OTA I was at, Geno Smith was very rough. Rough to the point I think he threw 3 interceptions. Pete Carroll comes out and says, "Don't worry, the practice before that you guys didn't see, the offense dominated. The defense made some adjustments. The defense was better." But based on what I've seen, I already had some concern when they signed Geno Smith. I think because we've seen Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, some of these older quarterbacks last, we miss that the aging curve, usually when you're 34, you're going downwards. We've seen Geno Smith decline each of the last 3 years. What was his ceiling? A first-round playoff exit in Seattle. I don't necessarily think this guy is like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, which it seems like NFL types Raiders fans are saying. I think he's fine. He's going to be an improvement, but I haven't seen anything in OTAs to get me really excited about this offense.
Ryan, agree or disagree? What are you feeling? What have you seen with your own eyes?
I think one thing about OTAs is OTAs. So we talked about the 3 interceptions. Yeah, we all saw that a couple weeks ago, but still, this is Geno Smith. He's still learning the offense. He's still getting adjusted to everyone in Las Vegas. So I'm not here to overreact off of that. I'm not here to overreact to saying he's going to be a blessing in disguise for this team as well. But I look at this with the Geno Smith thing, is Pete Carroll made it clear when he got hired that he wants to compete right away.
Yeah.
And the only way you can do that is to have a quarterback that you already have some type of continuity, some chemistry with, and that's why they got Geno Smith. And we look at like this, when you see across the league, when you have a head coach and a quarterback that has a really strong connection, a lot of good things can happen. And one thing you can look at the AFC West in particular with last year with the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton and Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Sean Payton went to the draft, got his guy in Bo Nix. They go out and win 10 games and make it and end the Broncos playoff drought. Now, will we see the same success here in Las Vegas with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith? I don't know. It remains to be seen. There's a lot of questions there. I think from a talent standpoint, it's a huge upgrade from what they had last year in Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. So I would say that Geno Smith is a more talented quarterback that's in the room compared to what they had in the past. I do think the question is going to come down to this: is you're going to see is can Ashton Jeanty live up to his potential? If he does, that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Geno Smith, and it's going to open up the play action game more. Second, we already know what we're going to get out of Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers, but what about the rest of the guys in the wide receiver room? Can Trey Tucker take another leap? What do we expect from Deontay Thornton and Jack Besh, the 2 rookies that they drafted? Looking at that wide receiver room, those 2 guys might be in a position where they're going to have to step in right away. So if that's the case, how will they handle that situation? And also, too, it's going to be the offensive line. That's going to be the key. Geno Smith had a QBR of 19.6 when pressured last season when he was with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
So he does have some inconsistencies when he's dealing with pressure. So can this offensive line step up? They were average last year. Can they step up and provide solid protection? Because that's going to be the key there. I think when you look at this offense, yes, you got your quarterback. Yes, you got one of the best overall players in this draft in Jeanty. But can that offensive line sustain and provide protection and run blocking to help this offense flow? You have all the pieces there, but to me, the trenches is going to be the thing.
That's a good question.
That lead to success for Smith and that rest of the team.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Ray, what do you want to add on this point? Are you I don't know if you got your laminated card and your pin for the Geno Smith quarterback fan club yet. How's that looking?
So if the Raiders do have 2 rookies playing significant snaps at wide receiver with an offensive line that you guys have both said is a work in progress, to be polite, the Raiders could be in trouble because they're projected to win 6 or 7 games. That means they're going to be behind a lot, which means Geno's going to have to throw the ball a lot. And I don't know who's saying he's a top 10 quarterback. He wouldn't even be in my top 20. With that said, I do like that Geno's been around the league for a while. According to the people there, and why would they say differently, he does, do a good job of being a leader and trying to mentor people. I just don't think he is going to have the impact that the Broncos saw last year when they had a quarterback and a coach who meshed. I think that, best case scenario, they go 9-8. And I hate the contract. Again, I've said that repeatedly. I think they overpaid for him. Whatever. It is what it is.
My button on this is, listen, it's all about competition. That was what we heard at the press conference with Spytech and Carroll. It's about injecting some competition into this franchise and into this locker room. So he's a competitor, Geno
With whom,
Smith.
though?
But I'm saying he's going to compete with other teams. We don't need
He's not competing with anybody to say hike.
Yeah, because he's that much better. It's good.
No,
before we're dealing with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, there's competition because you don't know who the star.
But you upgraded from like the dollar store to the $3 carousel in front of the Target. That's what you did.
Can I say one positive thing?
Geno
I've been the
Smith
negative
is better
guy?
than 5 and below. Can we just say? I mean, he's a true competitor. If he has good stuff around him, good line, Ashton Jeanty works out, Besh plays like a second-round wideout, and you got Brock Bowers, there could be some synergy here.
I've thought the 2 rookie receivers both have really stood out to me. I know we don't want to overreact to OTAs, but if you're looking for a thing and a positive, I think this receiving core could be better than you think because both Besh and Thornton have made some splash plays and look ready to go.
All right, I'm excited for this, and I'm already getting worked up, guys. I might have to go to urgent care after this episode. Listen, there is uncertainty surrounding Raiders defensive tackle Christian Wilkins rehabbing from a Jones fracture in his left foot. Raiders fans are dying to see more of the 300-pound lineman from Clemson. After the break, we're talking about the $110 million man. Free agency, March 2024. The Raiders signed defensive tackle Christian Wilkins to a 4-year, $110 million deal, including $82 million guaranteed. Now, he played 5 games last season, tallying up 17 tackles, 2 sacks, and 6 QB hits before suffering from a foot fracture. Now, there's a wide range of reports from he might need another procedure to head coach Pete Carroll calling his recovery challenging. Ray Brewer, will we ever get to see Wilkins at his best as a Raider?
Well, he's got a flat tire, and those flat tires are hard to heal. Probably not. You mentioned before we went on the break a Jones injury. We had to get an MD guide down here to find out what exactly it is. And he's got a bump foot, and if he goes through all the procedures and does have the surgery, there's no doubting his talent. He's a darn good player, and we saw glimpses of that in his 4 or 5 games that he played. But it's tough to come back from an injury, and it's tough when you miss that much time and the clock starts ticking to get back.
It's a shame because when the signing occurred, I think a lot of Raiders fans alike are thinking, wow, we're going to be able to have a lot of juice on the defensive line with Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins. But Case, jump in here because you were saying during the commercial break, we're chatting, you said this is like a dancing injury. This is like a Fred Astaire kind of injury. What is going on?
There's the play right there. We literally had it.
To me. Show me what's going on.
This is no secret. That was the play. I guess it was in Denver, not Miami. I mean, this was widely reported back at the time. You can go read about it. But he got hurt. He made a big sack in the Broncos game. He's dancing. Adam Butler jumps on him. I think he stays in a play or 2 after, but he's clearly limping, not 100%. So then there's all these reports. He got hurt on a celebration. The Raiders denied it. We talked to Adam Butler at the time. He said, my heart sank. I really thought I hurt him. But I talked to him afterwards, and he said, no, it wasn't you. I mean, that's all really kind of in the past now. But it's certainly, if you watch back the tape, it looks like he got hurt on the celebration. What I would say is, He's still in his prime. He's still a young, special player. I wouldn't rule him out from getting to see him at his best. He's in a great situation with the Raiders. This, for the second straight year, they want to build their team through the defensive line, playing next to Max Crosby. It's got to be a concern if you're a Raiders fan for all that,
so
that
we're
happened.
saying right there, that video that we're watching right there is where we think that occurred.
100%. I mean, that was, I think, his either second to last or third to last play of the year was when he got jumped on by Adam Butler.
Wow.
So are you telling me that even if he has another procedure that he could potentially be the player that they gave $100 million to?
I mean, we've seen players do it before. I mean, we've come a long way. This isn't the 70s or 80s. We've come a long way with medicine.
I'm a
and
child of the
surgeries.
70s. Take it easy.
Listen, I didn't.
What are you doing?
In my youth sports history, I didn't make a lot of big plays, so I wasn't celebrating a ton. So I didn't have the opportunity to get hurt after making a big play. But Ryan, tell us, I mean, how concerning is this? And truly, for a defense that's trying to make some improvements, you miss on Tyree Wilson. You know, that wasn't a great selection. We're still hoping to see some juice from him. But, I mean, if Wilkins doesn't develop and play like the guy from the Miami Dolphins that we were hoping to get in free agency, how concerning is that for this defense and what our ceiling could truly look like?
Yeah, it's a bit concerning. Yeah, you have, and the thing is, when you look at last year with the defense, a lot of the issues came with injuries. You saw Max Crosby go down. Malcolm Kuntz went down before the season even started, Wilkins. So we don't really know what the potential of this group can be. We've seen flashes. Max Crosby, one of the best edge rushers in the sport, and he got paid, and rightfully so, he got paid for it. Malcolm Kuntz flashed in 2023, but he's coming back from a torn ACL. So you would like to see all these pieces together because that helps you out big time if you can have Crosby, Kuntz, and Christian Wilkins healthy on the field at the same time in the AFC West Division with all those talented quarterbacks you're going against twice a year.
You can get that pressure. It would be a good thing.
Most definitely. So hearing Pete Carroll's remarks about Christian a couple weeks ago, he seemed carefully optimistic, but you can sense that it's not trending in the direction that they hope. Now, time is on their side. We still have some time before training camp. So if he's in there, he's active during training camp, that's a big positive. But right now, I'm not as optimistic as maybe others will be in terms of Christian Wilkins.
Okay.
And just hearing Pete Carroll's remarks, just him himself, it just sounded like this is going to be
all right, we got to go to the break, but the one thing we're going to do while we're waiting during this break and before we see you guys next is Ray's going to jump on me like Adam Butler, and we're going to see if I get a Jones fracture myself. But guys, next up, a big-time question. What's the key to success for the Raiders in 2025? More takes, more opinions after the break. Ray, jump on me. All right, welcome back to Sin City Beat. 2025 is going to look very different for the Silver and Black. A new coach, a new QB, and potentially a new face of the franchise in rookie running back Ashton, Jeanty. Now, Ryan, I'm going to you first here. What or who will be the biggest key to the Raiders' success in 2025?
It starts in the trenches for me. So can that offensive line provide solid protection with Geno Smith, and can they provide protection in terms of opening gaps and creating holes for Ashton Jeanty to take advantage of? That's going to be the key there. You got your quarterback, you got your running back, and that's going to be up to the guys in the trenches to make it all work. That's all. When you look at all successful teams, to me, all successful teams are built through the trenches. So if the Raiders can have strong protection up front, I think this offense has a chance to do some good things in 2025.
I love to see that. I love to hear that. And here's the thing. I'm excited about Jackson Powers-Johnson moving to center and what that's going to look like for the run game and everything else as well. So that's a good thing. Ray, what's your key? Who is your key? Where is the success going to be stemming from for this franchise?
So this is really basic, but the National Football League is a quarterback league. The teams with good quarterbacks tend to have better chances to win games. The teams that have quarterbacks that need a lot, like the offensive line, to be good tend to not win games. The Raiders haven't really had a great quarterback since they've been in Las Vegas. So I think if Geno Smith hits his ceiling, then they've got an opportunity to be competitive. But you've got to remember, this team ranked last in running last year. Now, granted, they addressed that in the draft. They play in a really tough division where they didn't win a game last year. And it's going to be tough sledding, but let's see a few signs of improvement, something you could build off of. You drafted great last year. You got Powers on the line. You got Brock Bowers. All observations say they might have hit a home run with a few players in this draft. So maybe you start building some momentum to where you do get that franchise quarterback, or if Geno becomes your franchise quarterback, then all systems go.
I love it. Yeah, it's a lot of positive momentum. Plus, you're hitting on those draft picks. That was something foreign to this franchise for a long time. So once again, if a guy like Besh develops into the player that we're thinking, I mean, you're hitting on 2 spots there in consecutive drafts. It's a great thing. But Case, for you, what does this all drum down to?
Those are 2 great answers and probably the right answers. But to do something different, I'm going to say a big key to me is the defensive backfield. To me, on paper, this is probably the worst group of defensive backs in the NFL, or in the conversation for the worst defensive backs in the NFL. But we know, what is Pete Carroll known for? Developing these guys, bringing the most out of them. And I think they've looked pretty good in training camp. I think that they're going to have a couple guys pop a little bit more than they have so far. You need Jacorian Bennett to have a big year number 3. You're going to need Darian Porter, the rookie they took, to be ready right away. You're going to need Eric Stokes to bounce back from kind of sort of a first-round bust. So I think defensively, I think they're going to be good up front. I think the linebackers will be serviceable. I really want to see how the defensive backfield pans out.
Okay, a lot of good answers there. A lot of newness for the silver and black franchise. So we're very excited here. OTAs wrap up on June 5th. So a lot to see in the future, of course, with training camp as well. But I want to thank our amazing panel, Case Kiefer, Ray Brewer. Even though you jumped on my back, I'm doing well, okay? I appreciate you being here. And of course, some new blood, our new favorite guy here, Ryan McFadden with ESPN, beat reporter for the Raiders. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I'm Mike Davis. We'll see you next time here on Sin City Beat. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see what happens with the rest of OTAs. See you next time here on Sin City Beat.